Hey there, it's Andrew Cass here, and I have for you today the magic bullet, I call it, for getting unstuck. Not really magic, but really it can work like magic when it's deployed correctly. And we've all been stuck at times before in business and life, in relationships, in sports. And it's not a great place to be, but you don't have to stay there. And oftentimes you have to do something totally different than you've ever done in the past to get unstuck and get to the next level. And I found that there's three things that work very well for me, and I've seen them work for others, for clients. I've seen them work on a national level when doing speaking from stage. And the first one is kind of getting clear on if you're okay with yourself. I know that sounds a little odd, but most times when we're stuck, we're really not happy with ourselves and we're down on ourselves. Our self-image has sort of fallen off a cliff. Our self-confidence is gone. And what that does is it makes you take the wrong kind of action or no action at all. And that's what creates frustration. So the first thing is just getting clear with, do I like myself, right? And if I don't, how do I get to a place where I do? And there's certainly ways to do that by boosting your self-image and working on yourself and going through some personal development. There's a lot of training around that concept today. But that's the cornerstone, because you can't really do anything in business and life. You can't repair a relationship if you just are down in the dumps and you're upset with yourself. So that's number one. Number two is clarity. Once you've sort of boosted your self-image and you've gotten your confidence back up, hopefully in this scenario, it's clarity. Knowing where you're going, but just as importantly, knowing what you no longer want to stand for is extremely powerful. It creates a lot of momentum. And sometimes knowing what you don't want and knowing what you no longer stand for creates way more speed and way more clarity and direction to knowing what you do want and taking the right steps, putting the right people in place, and putting the right systems in place to get it. Especially in business, that clarity is everything in my eyes and in my experience. And then the third piece, which, it's kind of like counterintuitive, if you will. It's working on your strengths, not your weaknesses. We were taught growing up as kids that if you're weak with something, let's say you're weak with math, but you're great in English, they tell you to do what? They tell you to go work on the math because you're weak, but in English you're strong in. And statistically, science has been done that you have like a 10% chance to improve a weakness, but you have like a 50% chance to improve on a strength. So working on your strengths in business is critical, and shedding your weaknesses or delegating your weaknesses makes a monster difference. You'll see some of the best CEOs in the world, some of the top entrepreneurs that I've worked with in the world. They're really good at identifying their strengths and their weaknesses. There's no emotional attachment to it. If they suck at something, they're cool with that, and they get it off their plate, and they put somebody in place who's good at it so they can focus on where they're strong, which is where they make the most impact, and that's in their strength zone, not in their weak zone. So those are the three areas that I found through a lot of experience, being stuck myself many times, being stuck trying to get to the next level. It's getting better with yourself, right? Boosting your self-image, creating more clarity, and working on your strengths, not your weaknesses, creates a path to achievement. And it really is like a magic formula if you deploy it. So go ahead and do it. See you soon.